Flour power. Swapping flour types in your recipes.
Hello, kitchen adventurers. Today, we're here to solve a common culinary conundrum. Can you substitute one type of flour for another in a recipe if you don't have the specific type called for? The short answer is yes, with some caution and understanding. Let's explore this further.
Understanding different types of flour.
The first thing to remember when substituting flours is that not all flours are created equal. They vary in terms of protein content, texture, taste, and how they react in recipes. For instance, cake flour is lighter and has less protein compared to all-purpose flour, making it great for tender baked goods. Bread flour, on the other hand, has more protein, perfect for creating gluten and giving your bread that desired chewiness.
Substituting all-purpose flour.
The most common flour in many households is all-purpose flour. It's a jack of all trades in the baking world. If your recipe calls for a specific type and you only have all-purpose flour, you can usually substitute it in a 1-to-1 ratio. Be aware that the texture and taste might slightly differ. For instance, replacing cake flour with all-purpose flour in a cake might result in a denser cake.
Substituting whole wheat, gluten-free, and other specialty flours.
For whole wheat, gluten-free, and other specialty flours, substituting becomes trickier. These flours have unique characteristics that can drastically change the outcome of your recipe. For instance, whole wheat flour has a higher fiber content and can make your baked goods denser and heavier. It's often best to replace only part of the all-purpose flour with whole wheat, instead of doing a full substitution. When it comes to gluten-free flours like almond flour or coconut flour, it's important to note that they don't behave the same way wheat-based flours do because they lack gluten. Therefore, you might need to adjust other ingredients, especially liquids and leavening agents, to get the right consistency and rise. In conclusion, while you can often substitute one type of flour for another, it's not always a straightforward swap. You'll need to understand the properties of the different flours and potentially adjust the recipe. It's a bit of a science experiment, but that's part of the fun of cooking and baking, isn't it? Don't let a lack of specific flour type stop your kitchen adventures. Use what you have, experiment a bit, and who knows, you might stumble upon your next favorite recipe tweak. Happy baking!